So there are two really interesting things happening out there in the world at the moment. One of them is an oncoming recession where I'm already seeing companies getting very sensitive about cost cutting. But at the same time, we've got exponential growth in AI capability. So let's put one and one together, and AI does help a lot with cost reduction. So here are 7 quick immediate actions that you can take using AI. It's surprisingly simple and very high impact. So I'll go through these one by one, but just very high level. It's firstly, stop or reassess any IT development work. Secondly, optimize your energy and physical operations within a company. Third, automate repetitive work. Then reduce vendor spend, speed up adaptability, improve financial visibility, especially cash flow, and increase market share. Go on the offensive, but use that as an AI-powered skill that you could have. So firstly, a lot of companies are still spending money on developing the old-fashioned software, the old-fashioned way. And literally using something like Claude Code, you can just tail your objectives, just talk like this, like we're talking now, to something like Claude Code, and it'll write all of that for you. So if you're spending a lot of money on external development, it's often a bit of a nonsense, and that can be a very quick win. And a lot of projects that you'd be maybe putting off in terms of developing things because they were too complex, too expensive, those have suddenly become incredibly simple. And all of the things, these other examples I'm going to show you, these can all be done so simply with AI. So the next one, there's obviously potential energy crunch coming to the world, and everyone has to be much more efficient how energy is used. Now, obviously there isn't the physical energy all of the time, and the cost is high. But what companies can do is use the available energy much more effectively. So for example, an AI can be tracking which part of an office building, a factory, a residential area is being used more. What is the outside temperature? When there should be natural ventilation? All of these kinds of things. They're not that difficult. It doesn't all have to be IoT. It can be, let's say, security guards using a mobile app built and run by AI. So huge savings can be done, very simply built on AI using very standard things that are, you just talk to the AI. Then, instead of big IT digital transformation projects, the way AI works is you just do loads of little quick wins. So any repetitive work you can automate easily. So you look at it department by department, from your finance department to your marketing, sales, operations, whatever. And you just take little individual chunks and build AI agents to speed that up. So what may have taken a week can then take an hour. So obviously you don't need as many people to do that, or you can do 10 times as much work and get 10 times as much revenue. So either way. Then a large cost is always vendor spend, and you may have a purchasing system, you may have big lists of who your current vendors are, how much you're spending on them. But you put AI over that information, and then you can start really discussing the patterns in that, and also, importantly, look for where there could be potential fraud. I've used AI many times on clients for exactly this purpose, and it's amazing what you can find when you have a dynamic discussion with an AI about your existing data. Another thing that's happening increasingly in the world is moving very fast. When it comes to a recession, then you've just got to be fast to survive. So to speed up your decision-making process, how good is your data coming in? How well is that being analyzed? How clear are your processes? Every single stage of this, AI can make really big improvements in. And then you've got financial visibility. So what often is the biggest problem for companies in a recession is cash flow. So it's not lack of profitability that often brings a company down, it's the availability of immediate cash. So financial control becomes very important. And again, you could have loads of these static Excel spreadsheets, all of your data on an ERP accounting system, but you put an AI over the top of that, it can start reading that automatically and discussing it with you. You could be dashboards, it could be automatic notifications of trouble areas, problem solving, developing solutions together with the AI. There's loads of things can be done in this. And finally, it's not just cost cutting using AI. In a recession, gaining market share is the second major one. First, you've got to survive, but then take advantage of you having survived. So AI in marketing. So imagine scaling really good hyper-personalized content down social media channels at volume in multi-languages. So this isn't necessarily a big advertising spend, but it's a much more intelligent way of getting your message across. So sell more, gain more revenue than your competitors. So all of these things are what's necessary in a recession. AI is a perfect solution. I'll go through each of these in quite a lot more detail in future videos, but this is the start, at least.